I hold in my hand the gum Jabbar. No, you didn't let me say that if you move, you die. Crap, I gotta be upfront about it.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
May thy knife chip and shatter. Boom! Shit! Shit, the safety wasn't on! Gurney!
Can we have guns?
I don't know
Can we have guns
I
in
don't
the
know if we
podcast?
can.
Nervly, leave it in, but blur it out. So they'll never know.
Yeah, the audio listeners get everything, but the video listeners, watchers, even.
Oh, speaking of,
I
we'll
know.
talk about that. Was that a natural segue?
That was my segue to the watcher situation.
Welcome back, everybody, to Brain Leak Podcast. Hope you're leaking out your pores and your eyes and your nose and your ears.
I hope your brain has exited the building, because we're about to let rip.
Yeah, we have a big announcement, and we've been doing this for over a year now, and we think that it's time that we spread our wings a little bit more. So we've created our own platform. It's just going to be $20 a month, and I think that that's fine. And it's going to be all the same content that you have been getting for years for free.
It's actually going to be less content. We're editing it down further.
Yes. So we hope to see you there. It's going to be really good.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
May thy wallet chip and shatter.
I want to end every conversation with that instead of like, all right, see you later. Just be like, may thy knife chip and shatter. And then you just walk out of the room. Hold up a bread knife.
God, we talk about Dune all the time, but I did get the Dune book that has all the photography and stuff from
Joshy bro.
Yeah, he did the poetry and the words in it, and then
is it good poetry though, or are we just talking like because anyone can write poetry?
It is good. I mean, some of them are kind of weird, but it's all like based on the set.
Literally every poetry conversation ever. Is it good? Well, yeah, but also no. And you just had to be there.
It's cool though. There's a bunch of photography from on set and stuff, and then Josh Brolin writes some things about some stuff.
See, I want to think that that's cool, but part of me can't help but think about how cringe it is.
There's definitely some passages in there that are a little cringe, but
because it's like, if the moment strikes you and you have like a good soliloquy that you want to get across to the audience, sure. But if you're just writing poetry for the sake of writing poetry because you're on set and you're bored and being on set is boring as fuck.
Some of them are just passages. Some of them are like actual poetry. Now, but it's a nice little coffee table book.
You could drop anybody into this conversation at this point and just tell them that we're talking about Taylor Swift's new album. Where it's like,
oh man, we could.
She's just waxing lyrical over and over. It'd be like, is it good? Well, see, if you're 30 and you like Taylor Swift, then maybe I'd have to listen to it again. Because some of those lyrics on that new album, I'm admittedly, I don't know Taylor Swift. I don't really know much of the deep lore. I'm pretty up to date, but I'm just going to put this out there instead of getting put up against the wall and shot by her community. I would like to point out that I don't really care either way, but I've seen a lot of the lines that have come out of the album. And out of context, they're hilarious where it's like, you ate 7 chocolate bars. I'm like, how do you put that in a song?
Wait, is that real?
Yeah. And it's supposed to be like talking about Matt Healy and him smoking weed. And
oh, baby.
But again, I'm getting all of my information from secondhand sources, so I don't know. I think there would be a fun Taylor Swift. What's the new album called? Tortured Poet Society Department?
Yeah.
Tortellini Poet Department.
Big man's poet time.
Taylor's big poetry time. Because there's some that, oh my God, it's a fucking 31 song album, which, fair play. If you're able to write that much, then fair play. I did see some reviews that were like, she said that she had to write to get through some stuff, and she was writing when she was on tour. And I get that, like creative outlets and all that's clearly making music and writing is her creative outlet. But a lot of the reviews are like, just because you had to write to get through this stuff doesn't mean we had to hear it.
Hey, question about, making songs to get through a thing or expressing an emotion or whatever. Isn't that every song ever?
Yeah.
Isn't that the songwriting process? Is you're like, I have a feeling that I want to express. I'm going to make a song about it.
Yeah, but this is about breakups. You don't get it.
Hasn't been done before.
Because she says stuff like, my boy only breaks his favorite toys. Toys, oh. I'm queen of sandcastles. He destroys. Oh. So, like, that stuff's not too bad. See, I wish I knew the ones off the top of my head. Once I fix me, he's gonna miss me. That's kind of hits.
Kind of hits hard.
Which is the lesson to take away. Is like, maybe work on the inside is more important than trying to make everybody else align to what I think. So some soul searching.
How long is the album? It's 31 songs. How many?
About 6.5 weeks, I think.
Oh, 2-3 business days on that album.
I want to find the chocolate lyric, but I don't know what song it's from. This is why you got to credit your sources.
I have not listened to the album. Taylor Swift isn't for me, and I'm very happy for everybody that's real pumped about the album. Yeah. You got a lot of learning to do.
This is
with 31 tracks. Geez.
This is it's almost one for every year she's been alive. This is your Super Bowl. This is like your Roman Empire is when this stuff comes out. I wish I was that into an artist anymore that, look, when the Brandon Sanderson 5th Stormlight book comes out at the end of the year, I'm going to be right there with you, Swifties. I want to be waxing lyrical about how the Stormlight enters Kaladin's veins.
I was asked this question the other day of just the simple question of like, who's your favorite musical artist? And I was like, I don't know. Even like, what's one of your favorite? And I'm like, I don't know. I like a lot of different bands at different times. I don't like have a current favorite. Sean, yes? Do you have a current favorite?
Yes, I have answer. Mine is Hozier. Uh-huh. Because I was thinking
coffee in the bag.
You're too sweet for coffee, so I take mine black. No milk, please.
No more milk.
Would you like it oat or almond? Oh, skimmed, please.
What about him? Is it because he's Irish? Is it because of his long... You guys currently look similar. You have a lot of similarities right now.
Do you think that's by coincidence? Or because I looked at Hozier once and went, that's man.
That's a man.
People have the Vitruvian Man by Da Vinci. I have Hozier from Ireland.
Where is he from? In Ireland, obviously.
I don't actually know.
Yeah, you guys both have your long, beautiful locks. You both have facial hair. You're both Irish.
I was going to say he's from Wexford, but he's actually from Wicklow. I knew he was from a W county, but I didn't get the dub on that one.
And I think the only difference between the two of you is he's like 12 feet tall.
Yeah, he's also incredibly talented and handsome and has a great voice and can write good lyrics.
Hey, you're incredibly talented and handsome.
Prove it.
I bet it. And I bet if you...
Point to one talent.
What do you mean point to one talent? The empire that you've made over the years.
Oh, this house
you just released a comic book.
This house of cards that I have built is going to come crumbling down.
Hey, listen. If I wanted to get your comic book,
you go to Bad Egg. Thank you for the plug. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. New comic books came out, issue 1, because we did issue 0 before. Now it's issue 1. Put them together. Get all of them, you'll have 4 comic books. If you get all the covers, you'll have so many covers.
Whoa. That's sick, dude.
Anyway.
Are you excited about it? Are you feeling good?
am. I'm very excited about it. People should buy my comic books for no other reason.
I don't know where my gun went. Oh, it's right here. Take the comic book.
Don't hold it like that. Look, at least he had trigger discipline. Yeah, but he held it upside down.
Brain leak. I'm currently on a road trip across the United States with my father, driving from Maine to California, and I am constantly using publicly accessed Wi-Fi, and I need to make sure that I am protected from cyber threats and cyber people trying to get all my information. They could be accessing my bank account details, private information. I don't want them to have access to any of that. So, with the help of NordVPN, I make sure that I am staying safe and secure. They keep all of my information safe, away from the hands of the creepy criminals. And they keep my internet fast. They do not slow you down like some other VPNs do. Also, I'm staying at a bunch of hotels, and I'm also switching on and off between driving with my dad. And sometimes I need some stuff to watch. So if I want to watch some of my favorite shows that don't happen to be on US Netflix or something like that, I can just change my location, be in a whole new place, and access the TV that I want. NordVPN is awesome. It lets me watch the shows that I want to watch, and it keeps me and my information safe. They are great in cyber security. So if you want to join me in staying safe out there, you can go to nordvpn.com/brain, and you can get 4 bonus months for free when you sign up. Again, that's nordvpn.com/brain.
I think... Look, I like saying things that are like funny, but sometimes people take it seriously, and I don't want to get attacked by people. Look, everybody, all God's children, everyone's beautiful. Taylor Swift's a billionaire. Taylor Swift? She shouldn't care what I think. And her whole album apparently is about the audience shouldn't care about what she does because she's a grown fucking woman. She's the same age as me. Really? I think Hozier's lyrics are what people think Taylor Swift's lyrics are.
Is that what you like about Hozier? You like the lyrics?
I think Hozier clearly shows that he reads a lot of poetry, and the way he writes, not all his songs. Some songs are literally just like, I like fucking in the evening. And I'm like, Hozier, that's fine. Don't we all?
That is poetry. What do you mean? That's like...
Down by the fire with my titties out.
Down by the fire with my titties out.
Dude, my Irish nipples are singing in the wind. Do you think if Hozier takes his shirt off and he stands in the wind, his nipples make sound? They just go like, Hozier.
Does that mean something in Irish?
It's just his surname.
Oh, didn't know. Had no idea.
Had no Hozier. Andrew John Hozier Byrne is his name.
Damn.
He was born in Bray. Fair play.
Do you ever think about your name? And I was thinking about this the other day, where some people's names just sound successful and like famous and stuff.
It's like when you see some people and they're so pretty, you're like, I kind of know what you do. Like, I know that you're successful because you're gorgeous and you look expensive. Like, that person looks expensive.
Some people have stage names. So, like, it's a little bit more like, oh, this is, it's a stage name. But some people's names are just like, oh, like, you sound successful.
Yeah, Hozier, like you got gifted that and it sounds like a stage name.
Like Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah, fuck you, Timothy. Not only that, but you speak French and you're handsome. That's not fair. When you go into when you're starting Fallout or something and it gives you like the stats that you're allowed to put into stuff, some people clearly got more stats. We're two of them. We have a podcast that we just talk shit. And people are like, cool, keep it coming.
Oh, boy. I do want to say that last week's episode with Matt Pat was very, very fun. If you haven't listened to that, definitely go listen to it.
Yeah, it's not up yet, so we don't know if people even like it.
Yeah, it's going up tomorrow. And we didn't even... I did it for the episode and it never came up, which why would it? Because the episode is about Matt Pat, but I randomly decided I was like, oh, I should shave today. And so I shaved everything but the mustache. And I was like, I'll just keep it for today.
Okay, I want to give context to this because you had facial hair and then you decided to shave and you left the mustache. But first of all, it didn't look bad. I genuinely thought it looked great and you should have kept it, you fucking pussy. But you FaceTimed me an hour before and you were like, what do you think? Expecting me to like make fun of it or something, which I kind of did because
I thought it looked kind of funny.
I'm not gonna like find $20 on the ground and not pick it up, you know?
Yeah.
But it looked good. And you were like, oh, I have to point out how stupid it is in case somebody else does it first. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're not wearing our insecurities as pieces of armor anymore because it turns out that armor's made out of wet paper bag.
Yeah, we're not wearing these insecurities as armor. We're wearing it as facial hair that's on our face.
Yeah, we're just not aware that we're showcasing it all the time anymore. And then people point it out and then you go, well, there's a new one. That's a new insecurity that I didn't realize I have. Like me hanging out with people and then somebody went like, always a joke, huh? And I went, oh man, that's all I know how to do.
Always analogy, huh?
Yeah. Wow. I did interviews for my comic book yesterday. I think I said like 4 analogies.
Ooh, what was that like?
It was fun.
Are you allowed to speak on it?
Yeah. One of them, well, I didn't do the interview for them, but we got an article in IGN, which I think is pretty cool. Like,
yeah, that's sweet.
A lot of people don't really care about IGN anymore and they meme them. And for the video game stuff, everyone's like, oh, 7 out of 10, not enough water. And that's fair. I don't think every journalism spot is without criticism. But I, as someone who grew up like going to IGN all the time for like reviews for games years ago when I was a teenager, it's pretty cool to see something I did. It's like feeding my inner child. And I think that's cool.
That's awesome.
We also did one with Forbes, which they like, at the start of it, they do like the thing where it's like, Sean McLaughlin, who does YouTube with 30 million subscribers. And I'm like, yeah, this many views. I'm like, oh. And then like, he also does coffee and comic books and he has a podcast and he does this and that. And he's been in a lot of video games with voices. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about all of them. And then it's
Isn't
like,
that nice,
tell us a little about yourself. And I'm like, I don't want to.
You can't do it.
I'm uncomfortable now because my brain is just like, you did an accomplishment, never remember it. Always be sad. ABS.
Yeah.
That's what my brain's always saying.
That's
ABS,
nice,
bro.
though.
Ab workout, always be.
Always be.
It is
I
nice.
think that's good, and it's good for you.
I know, and pat on the back for me and everything, but when they do it, I'm like, the Irish in me is like, you're not allowed to accept praise. I was talking to Sam Lake about it. Shout out, name drop. But I was like, is Finland like Sweden, where you're not allowed like boast about things? And there is a term for it. And he was like, yeah, it's almost like don't make a big name for yourself in case you bring shame upon yourself, kind of thing. And I was like, I guess Ireland's kind of the same, where it's like no one's allowed step beyond their boundaries because everyone will make fun of them.
Maybe that's where I get it from my little Irish heritage.
Yeah.
Goes all the way back.
You actually just got the depression side of being Irish, which is like a lot of small towns, a lot of drinking. Oh, Paddy got a name for himself and now he's better than all of us. No, he's not. Fuck him. We always talk analogy time. Ding, ding, ding. I need a bell.
Guys, huge.
Huge. Oh, wait. Huge analogy time.
Small bell. Analogy time.
Analogy time. It's like Americans would see somebody's house on top of a hill that's really expensive and go, that's going to be me someday. Climb the capitalist ladder. My Bitcoin's going to hit huge. But Irish people would see the house and go like, who does your man think he is? Fucking sitting on top of his fancy house. Probably shites gold. And then Americans, it's all about like, how do I become the one so I can shit on everyone else? And,
the American dream, baby.
And Ireland's like, well, let's pull everyone down to our level because fuck those guys.
That is kind of funny. Very true. Where it's like, nah, everybody fucking shit. Come back down here.
And I think
sit down here.
I think I have that sometimes where I'll get upset about something because somebody did something amazing, and I'm like, why do I suck? No, the thing they did must suck. Time to pull. Here you go. Letting all the air out of your tires, magic man. But I try not to do that. But I'm like, that's in my upbringing. That's like my knee-jerk reaction sometimes, was to be like judgmental. And I'm like, no. Who taught you that? It's a learned trait.
Yeah. Passed down from generation to generation. Here we are.
But at least my dad gave me huge testicles. Thanks, Pa.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate that one.
He's looking down at me right now with my giant balls. And he's like, that's my boy. Anyway.
But it did feel good, though, doing the interviews. You were able to give yourself a moment to say, hey, that's nice.
It is very nice. I mean, it's that thing that...
Did you get to go somewhere cool? Or did you just do it at your house?
I just did it like this. I think I was wearing the same outfit.
Haven't changed my clothes for 10 days.
Well, the Forbes one, they like started with the cameras on, and I'm like, oh, this is because they're not always like video. And then sometimes it's just like you're on the call and they transcribe what you've said, which sometimes I'm like, journalist, please. If somebody in an interview has a lot of stutter and ums and ahs and saying and things like that and things and stuff, don't put that in. Make them sound cool.
Oh, did they put it in?
Well, I don't know, but I have had interviews like that before where I see the interview afterwards and I'm like, did I really say that much? And I'm like, I'm all for transparency. That's what journalism probably should be, but come on.
Come on, guys, make me look a little bit better.
Yeah, just do it for me. Tee one up for Daddy.
For the love of,
Give one up for the big dog.
love of God. The big dog.
But
here you are.
Talking about news, we should talk about those who watch us.
Yes.
Who watches The Watchmen. Which I forgot that they were called Watcher. I always just knew them as Shane and Ryan.
Yeah, same here.
Because I guess because we come from like a Tumblr era earlier in our careers before Tumblr kind of died.
What is it? Mystery Unsolved?
Yeah.
I think. Something like that.
It used to be BuzzFeed.
Yeah, so I would like to start this off by saying I think that I don't think they're bad dudes. I think they just made a decision that was like, yeah, that was probably not good. You probably could have predicted the outcome.
It's very Fine Bros
of this. Yeah, God, I completely forgot like when they tried
the
to
copyright
react. Wow.
Yeah, but it felt kind of like that. So, they put out a statement saying, well, I think context is needed for what it is because a lot of people in their audience, they're huge. Like their channel has like almost 3 million subs, but whenever the Tumblr like yearly thing would come out of like who's trending the most, they were always like really near the top. So they were always like punching way above their size. And their audience is super engaged, way more than most channels. And they put out a thing being like, we have a countdown for a big thing that's coming, super exciting. And everyone was like, oh, new merch, new series, new characters, new something. And then they came out and were like, surprise, it's us leaving YouTube and we're going to make you pay for our content on a site that we made. Which is not, you don't really hype that up out of nowhere and then just drop that on your audience. Making content that was originally free paid is an awful idea for anybody.
Yeah. Especially in their situation because they already have other subscription things. Like they have a wildly successful Patreon.
Yeah. Which I don't, it's hard to know because unless it tells you, does it tell you how much they're making on their Patreon on their page? Because you can hide that sometimes.
Let's find out right now.
There is a join free option, and I'm not really sure if Patreon shows those people as numbers. So people saying like they have a really successful Patreon because they have X amount of members. I don't know if the free ones count towards that. Because it could be that there's like 5K people paying for it, which is still really successful.
Minimum, you can see how many members they have, which I'm assuming this has dropped a bit since their announcement. So it's 13.6K. Let's call that 14,000. Their lowest tier is $5 a month.
I think it's gone up since the announcement because people were like, oh, I didn't know you had this. I could be wrong. Go ahead. Oh,
interesting. But anyway, their lowest tier is $5 a month, and then $10, $25, and then $100 a month. So you can't see who is where of those 14,000 people, but minimum they're bringing in $70K a month just from the Patreon.
Assuming that all of those are paid.
Way more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably bringing in like 100K a month.
And all of their episodes that I've seen, obviously not everything on their YouTube channel does as well, but a lot of the like main videos that people show up for, that they get close to, if not over 1 million views minimum. I saw most of the recent ones were all like 900K, 800K, 1 million. Those are sizable views.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's do a little dive. Did you watch because they since have released an apology?
Yeah,
I have not watched the apology.
Yeah, it was decent. It was a bit like, it is a bit weird that you're like, you didn't really expect people to be this upset about it and saying stuff like, like $6, like everybody has that, which I'm like, I mean, everybody at some point has $6, but it's like expecting people to give you their $6 that could go towards like food and anything else, which is like crazy expensive these days, and everyone's hurting for like every dollar.
Yeah, especially when we live in the world that we do right now, which is every fucking thing is a subscription.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, it's not that much money if you're the only thing that you're subscribing to, but everyone else has tons and tons of subscriptions.
It's like the tone deaf thing of like, oh, so you can afford to go out and get coffee, but you can't afford this. It's kind of like that Invader V lady that we talked about before, where it's like everybody has $5. Yeah. You're coming in here watching for free. It's like, because it's allowed. And it's the same with them. Like expecting people to pay $6 for something that they were getting for free already is like, it's never worked. That's just bad business for anybody in our field. And I get, there's a lot to it, because I get that you have a big company, you have like 25 employees. They said in their apology, or maybe in the original one, that they didn't want to let anybody go, which is commendable, because a lot of times it's like, just downscale. Like clearly you can't afford the staff you have, you can't afford the productions you have. So downscale stuff so you can afford it with everyone's salaries. But it is commendable to find money elsewhere to make sure people don't get affected, that they don't lose their jobs, because everyone's losing their jobs these days. But I feel like there's just better ways to go about it, instead of like expecting people to pay that much money monthly to pay for your stuff, when I know it just feels really icky to me, because they also say like how much they spend on their like their production, but we don't really have hard numbers on that either, so it's hard to trust where the money's going, how much is being made. Like if you want to enter a good faith argument that like, we don't want to let people go, our stuff costs a shit ton of money to make, I feel like you need to be a bit more transparent about how much stuff actually costs, how much. Like, maybe you don't need to say how much people's salaries cost, but how much you're spending on staff, how much... I don't know. I feel like I would like a bit more transparency on that for people to feel like, okay, I get it. You want to make something huge.
Yeah.
But...
especially in their case when they weren't adding, they were taking away.
Yeah.
Because if they don't need to be transparent necessarily. If they're like, hey, we're doing this other thing, everything's staying the same here, but we're going to have bonus stuff here, which I'm assuming that's what their Patreon is. But if you're like, hey, the thing that you were getting for free, we're not doing that anymore. We're putting it all over here behind a paywall.
Yeah, that's
then
true.
You need to be transparent about it.
Which is interesting that you don't just double down on the Patreon and say, hey, our stuff is costing a fuck ton of money. It's costing way more than we thought. We can't afford to keep doing it the way we are, so please sub to our Patreon so we can keep doing what we're doing. So then it's like you get bonus content, but then everybody who was enjoying on YouTube still gets to enjoy on YouTube, which they have rescinded, and in their apology talked about that they're still putting the stuff on YouTube. They're just doing it later, which is like, that isn't that the Patreon? Or at least that's usually what people do on Patreon. So I don't know. I guess it's trying to fight for better ad rates. No, you wouldn't even be fighting for ad rates, because you're doing it. I'm very curious because I saw Charlie's video about it as well, and he pointed out that 12 out of their last 19 videos had sponsors in them. And he said that, like, clearly they're not hurting for advertisers, which they said they were. They were hurting for advertisers, and like the ever-changing algorithm and stuff on YouTube makes it hard to kind of do. And they want to be themselves while not risking ad space, which I get, but they don't really do anything that does risk ad space unless they want to completely change the content. But I would be curious if they went ahead and it was the $6 and everyone was going to their website and everything went well, would they not do sponsorships anymore?
That's the thing that I was thinking about too, because I feel like they still would. I don't know. Maybe I was about to say maybe on YouTube they would keep the ad reads there, but that wasn't the plan. The plan was to take away everything from YouTube.
So there's still a lot of questions in regards to it and how it would have gone ahead, and they're still going ahead with that, I believe, but taking stuff to YouTube later so people can have like the best of both worlds. But now you kind of like pissed in people's cornflakes, and a lot of people will use this as like a you showed your true colors moment.
It'll be really interesting to see how they do from now on, whenever they release their next video, how that does. But I honestly don't think that they're going to be impacted all that much, because like you were saying before, their fan base is like so diehard and so invested in their stuff that everyone was disappointed. I've never seen a more unified comment section before, and relatively like respectful. From what I was reading, most of the comments were very respectful and just like valid criticism, being like, hey guys, this is a bad idea. Please don't do that. Yeah.
And a lot of people saying like they can't afford it. And it's like, you're my comfort to watch. And like, I can't afford to watch you then if you do that, which is a fucked up thing to think about. And the fact that you don't think about that before you put up that kind of statement, it just kind of feels like spitting in the fans' faces a little bit. Whenever you do this kind of thing and then you ask people to pay for what you do. Like, I get it. They do bigger production stuff than you or I would do, like, as our regular content. It is hard to maintain wages. It is hard to maintain production, keep stuff the way you want it, keep building it, making things bigger and better all the time. But I just don't think this is the way you go about it. Maybe kickstart a season of a show or something like that. I don't know. But just asking your audience to pay for it and then take it all away is not the right move.
No, not at all. And like, that is sad. I didn't really think about that, where it's like, you know, their audience is really dedicated. And so somebody being like, yeah, I used to watch you, but I couldn't afford to anymore. Yeah. Like, I would like to watch you, but I can't afford it.
Yeah, getting bored of content is one thing, but being too poor to be able to watch something.
Yeah, just like, no, I'm not. Or just like not being willing to give the $5 or $6 every month. It's just like, yeah, well, I used to get this for free, and now I can't justify doing that. It doesn't make sense.
To their credit, in their apology, they did upfront immediately say sorry. They took accountability. They addressed the concerns that people brought up. Like, as far as apologies go, it pretty much is exactly what you're supposed to do, or supposed to do.
Yeah.
What people want you to do. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm not I don't know their content all that much. I did think they were just cool dudes. I was like, I'd love to get to meet you at some point and hang out and chat. I mean, I still would, but it just seems like it just seems tone deaf for their audience. It feels like something some other creator would do who doesn't care about their audience, but they seemed like they genuinely cared about their community and what they do, and their community being so feverish about their content is the reason they get to do what they do.
Yeah.
And it's not because I think about it a lot with, like, there's projects that I want to do, or like if I wanted to do an animated show or a TV show or something, like, I'm willing to put in money of my own to do it, but it's also just still crazy expensive to do these things. So it's like, do you kickstart something? Do you ask sponsorships to come in? Do you ask publishers to pay for half of it? Like, all those conversations always happen whenever you're doing a bigger production. But I would never just outright take something away from the audience and then ask them to pay for it. Like, it would always have to be something new. It would have to be something that was warranted for the price. I think if they came out and were like, we want to do a season something of our show and we need X amount of money to do it, I think people would have gladly been like, absolutely, here. The people who can afford it will, but you shouldn't be asking the people who can't afford it to still front the money. It's the same with anything like Thankmas. Like I'm always like, please donate as much as you can, but I'm kind of hoping the people who can afford it come in instead of asking all the people who can't give money to front that bill.
At the end of the day, it just kind of seems like this wasn't very thought out at all. It seems like they got really excited and they were like, oh, that would be really cool. Let's do that. And didn't think about it at all.
Which is a bit weird because it doesn't happen overnight. Like you have to build a website. Yeah.
No, so it seems odd because, they're well versed in the internet. It seems really weird that they wouldn't have that immediate thought of like, people are probably going to be pretty upset about this.
That or they think some people are going to be upset about this, but the majority of people will be fine, and then miscalculated.
I do love the top comment on the video. It's just, oh, Icarus.
Wow. How can you say so much with 2 words?
The video has 1.9 million views, 37,000 likes, and 242,000 dislikes. Oh boy. And 81,000 comments. Jesus.
Yeah. But I mean,
damn.
That's what happens. You put something out. It's up to you if you want to take the valid criticism, move on, be better about it. Or you want to just be like, hey, fuck you, we're doing it anyway, and it doesn't matter. People will pay regardless. And it seems like they're doing the former rather than being greedy about it. So we'll see what happens with them. Hopefully they don't.
We will see.
Hopefully they didn't kill their darling, their beautiful thing that they made that everyone was so excited about. And people will be a bit sour on it for a while if they manage to get past it. But hopefully it doesn't like taint people's perceptions forever.
Yeah. No, I don't think it will. And honestly, again, I haven't watched the actual apology video. But the first thing that I noticed going to their channel, seeing that the apology video is only 3 minutes long, is like a green flag in my mind, because I'm like, okay, you didn't just pad this out by like, trying to overly apologize. You probably just sat there and said what happened and said what you needed to say, and that's it. You didn't need to make a 45-minute long apology video.
Yeah, and I think YouTuber apologies are a thing that people meme all the time, and they do kind of live in a bubble because the apology is one thing. You can have a great apology and a PR team that works on it with you, but it's kind of like how you act after the apology that'll actually show if you care or not, or if you're actually going to make changes, or if you realize you fucked up. And I don't know. Everyone deserves second chances.
Yeah. No, they're not bad dudes. Just
unless they fucked up once before, and then you're not allowed a third one.
Never 3-strike rule, baby.
Never third chance. Ever.
Never.
To the shackles with you. To the gates of hell. So we're warning you, watcher. The Brain League podcast are on patrol.
We're keeping our eyes on you.
And that's not just funny wordplay. We mean it.
Yeah, we're going to uphold the justice.
Yeah, fold your arms.
Internet.
Fold your arms. Look hard.
I'm hard right now.
Look hard. Hold on, I gotta rub it.
Hold on, just give me a second.
I haven't been thinking about things like that.
God.
Chill the cock out already. Now you have me thinking about dicks.
Thinking about it now. Speaking of content things, I'm about to come back to the old YouTube.
The old Thunderdome.
Yep.
How does it feel?
I'm making some changes. Good. I have fun announcements. I'm going to be taking my channel and doing a subscription model on a different platform that I've made. I really hope that people like it. I don't know. I don't think there's a world where it could go poorly.
No.
Everyone's going to be supportive and
people have money.
Yeah.
If they can watch for free, they can watch for fee.
Yeah, if you can watch for free, you can watch for fee. That's the new motto of the channel.
That was straight off the dome, baby.
Hell yeah, that's improv for you.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
I'm excited though. I feel Much more refreshed. I feel like the changes that I'm gonna make are going to be less stressful for me, even though it's not really gonna change much on how like I work every day. But
see, this is the thing when you announce changes, or you announce like whenever people are like update vlog, it's like, don't do that. No one cares, and you're not going to get views on something like that. You got to call it something else.
Gotta call it. This year I'll die unless something.
I uploaded the comic book thing on my second channel because I was like, I don't know if people will watch this on the main channel, and it was just like, it's just me talking about a comic book. So I was like, finally being honest. And it's like one of those YouTuber faces where you're kind of sad. And everyone's like, oh, you freaked me out. And I'm like, okay, good.
Good. But if this was a real big, like, crazy change, don't you think that I would put it on my main channel, not this channel? When have you posted on that channel? Ever?
Yeah.
Have you?
I used to do shorts on it.
Oh. Wait, which channel?
Spadicy.
Let's find out.
I even had someone hired that was doing it for a long time.
Oh, Spadicy. Here he is. Video. Finally being honest.
Oh yeah,
there
baby.
You are.
Would you click it?
Look at you. Yeah, I did. Just now, just then. Let's see what the top comments are.
I want the comic book to do well.
Being threatened by Jacksepticeye with a gun is not something I was expecting to happen today. But here we are. Jack with a Glock is something I never knew I had to see. Knowing firearms are illegal in the UK proves it to us that Jack has a permit to carry a firearm.
Oh yeah, because that's what you take away, is that this is a real gun and I pulled it out on camera. What am I, Charlie?
I was about to say the same thing.
I don't even know if that's a real gun, but he's from Florida, so probably.
Probably. Honestly, you can do anything you want there. I have no idea. I guess by the time that this episode comes out, things will have happened anyway. But I am also starting another channel to make
What are you
things less
calling the
stressful.
second channel?
It's called EVE.
That's good, yeah.
With a period on it.
Because everyone always has to have, like, another thing. It's like the name that everyone calls you is kind of like the standard now for everyone's second channel. So it's like everyone used to say Spadicy because of Jesus on Felix's video.
Yeah.
Everyone calls you Eve. Evelyn's doing one with puzzles and she's calling it Goobus. I'm like, there you go.
Goobus. It's just Eve period is the name. The channel banner is me with my Bob Ross face, and there's just text that says whatever video whenever I want.
I like that. That's a good slogan.
Yeah. So it's just gonna be like the main channel stuff will be the main channel stuff, but I just wanted a place to just put stuff up that is just whatever and there's no consequences. And
that is nice, because a lot of people are like, you could just do that on your main channel, but unless you've had a main channel that you've uploaded stuff to that has like underperformed, and you're like, oh man, I was really excited about that, and it's like, it's hard not to care because it's just part of the job. But having a second channel where you can just brain dump, I think is really fun.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna just post once a week on the main channel that'll be like the quote unquote higher production stuff. Yeah. And then the other channel will have multiple videos going up a week probably, but it'll just be whatever I feel like. That's like good. I went to the Ren Fair a couple days ago, and I have this old Sony like mini DV camera, and so I just like filmed a bunch of random stuff, and so like that'll go up, and it's just like a fun random video at the Ren Fair that would probably not do very well on the main channel, but it doesn't matter because it's going up on the second channel, and it was fun to film, and it'll be a fun little whatever. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. It doesn't really change anything about like my day to day, but it takes pressure off, and it'll make the main channel look better because, like you said, sometimes stuff will just underperform.
Well, that's kind of, I was going to say, like years ago when the algorithm wasn't as strict as it is now, that you could just do that on your main channel and everything was fine. But now you have people making like gaming channels, react channels, or like game theory made like style and fashion and the same thing, food. And it's like, if one thing for like branding, yes, but it's also like because they want to stick in those algorithms and they don't want to fuck it up. And there's like an unspoken thing that if you upload something that's not your main algorithm, like my algorithm is gaming, and you have to like try for a while to shift your algorithm, and then you don't know if it's going to work. And it's just kind of annoying that that's such a prevalent thought now, is that you have to think about that stuff instead of like algorithms are the death of creativity. And I feel like having a second channel where you can just do whatever you want fills that creative well a bit more.
I can already see the comments now of people who like don't really watch my channel anyway, but they just want to come in and leave a shitty comment and then bounce. Of like, if you really like cared, you would just post everything on your main channel and do what you want. And it's like, that's not how this works when you do it for your job. That's not how the algorithm
It's actually
works.
because you care about your channel that you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Also,
it's like,
who cares? Fuck them.
Fuck them. Fuck them, dude.
Not like, fuck audiences, but like, those are the types of people that are just trying to drag you down for you trying to have fun with yourself. So,
just trying to drag me down, man. You gotta let me spread my wings and fly.
This is your space. This is your area.
This is your area, dude.
Have you ever seen that the comedian that does that joke?
Yeah.
He's like, you can't let her talk to you like that, dude. This is your space. This is your area. So good.
I'm excited though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be good. And I think also, like, because you do have to think about these things when you do it for your job. It's like my channel has been around for almost 12 years now. And so creating a new channel that will, you know, it's not going to do crazy well, but it'll do better than 99.999% of brand new channels on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think that will probably help just whatever.
Yeah, because there's also this thing like, well, we don't even know if it's real, that if you upload stuff...
God
is definitely real, and he's an algorithm. Because look at the fucking shit stains you created. I think there's a thing with like, if you upload stuff on your channel that does poorly, then it's kind of has like a knock-on effect. And if you continuously upload stuff that does poorly and people aren't watching it, then it doesn't get served to their sub feeds. It doesn't get suggested. It doesn't go to browse features. It doesn't.
Yep.
It has like this awful knock-on effect. It's almost like poison that kills your channels. And that's why you see so many people do extra channels, because they want to do creative things, but the way YouTube is right now is that you can't be as creative as you want on your channel. That's why you see so many channels double down on one type of content. You have people who do horror content. All they're doing is horror content because they're like, this hits. There's a plethora of them. It's in my algorithm. It always gets suggested. I'm going to keep doing that. People who do like only Fortnite content. I'm sure they don't always want to just do Fortnite content. Everyone would love to be able to do lots of different things, but you can't do that anymore because you get locked in. Locked in syndrome.
Yep. It's just the way that the platform is.
It's just the way algorithms work. Like the stronger algorithms get, the worse that kind of stuff is going to get. Everything gets very homogenous. Or as MatPat said, siloed. Everything's in its own bubbles.
Everything's in its own little bubble. I was talking to my therapist about it the other day, though, where I'm just like, I just don't really care. I mean, like, there's parts of me that care, obviously, what audiences have to say. But I was thinking about just, like, the comments that people make where they'll just kind of shit on you for XYZ thing. And it's like, okay, like, you know what it is like as a viewer of things, but you don't know what it's like on this side of things. And you actually don't know how this works because you are not a creator that does this for their job.
Yeah. Unless
you are a creator that does this for your job and you are throwing out valid criticism. But most people, it's like, okay, like, some of your advice is good and valid, but a lot of the times it's just like, you don't know what it's like doing it on this end and how the algorithm works and how all this shit works. So you have to, unfortunately, pander to the algorithm.
Yeah. It's kind of like a 50...
I think after...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say after I like rebranded and stuff, I think both the algorithm and my viewers don't really know what to expect from my channel because it's just a bunch of different stuff. And so it'll make it more streamlined, frictionless, as Cody Co would say.
I was going to say, it's kind of like a 50-50 thing because our job is kind of to like do these things without the audience having to really know about it or hear about it, or you can like share as much as you want or need at the time. So it's like, sometimes it's like audiences say stuff and I'm like, I get it, because you don't really understand how I operate. You don't really understand where my brain is at. So the only way you can react is the way you're reacting. And I don't really like the video I did about my retirement and like when I would do it and things like that. A lot of people in the comments were just really, really nice, but somebody clipped a section talking about depression and stuff and then uploaded that to TikTok, which is totally fine. People do that all the time. But all the comments there were like, oh, boo-hoo, he's a millionaire who plays games for a living and he's crying about it. And I'm like, yeah, I think a while ago that would have bothered me, but I'm like, I get it, because to you probably are struggling with money, because everyone's struggling with money these days. It's a completely fair thing. I luckily don't have to struggle with money anymore. So where we're coming from with our mentalities is completely different. And I completely get, like, from your perspective, that is how this looks. And I can't really fault anybody for that. Like, I know it's not true. And I know there is part of me that's like, I do have a really good job and I get paid way too much for it. And I should, like, I need to remind myself constantly that, like, this is more fun than it seems, because algorithms get in your head. Conversations with other people get in your head. I don't have any friends in day-to-day life that I hang out with. We have PJ and Sophie, but we don't see them like every day. Like, I don't have people that I hang out with constantly. So I don't have like a sounding board for anything. I don't know. It's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that people sometimes forget that is the most basic thing about human life, is that everyone is living a different life that has different stuff going on. So sometimes it's kind of unfair to be like, they have this and this, they have to be happy. It's like, that's not how that works.
It's like, I think that's where the like money doesn't buy happiness kind of thing, which I kind of hate that phrase, because money definitely affords a lot of things that can make you happy in the moment, and fleeting happiness is better than no happiness. But also it's like, I think people just need, think back on humans as tribes. We just, I'm going full Joe Rogan now. When we were apes, I think people just need friction. They need a struggle. They need like some sort of friction in their life to give it purpose and meaning. You need something overbearing to work against, to feel like you need like a struggle to feel like you're accomplishing stuff. If everything's great and everything's going well, it's kind of hard to know as a human what to do. It's like if your financial problems are all solved, it's like you still have all your emotional baggage that you need to deal with. And now it's like, now I'm lucky enough that I have the money that I can afford to get help to figure that out. Or like, if you have bad teeth, it's like money definitely buys happiness in terms of like fixing your teeth. And like money can buy happiness for therapy. It can buy medical stuff.
It's a scale kind of thing. Like if you have like financial problems that are weighing a bunch of stuff down, then the other stuff won't seem as big of an issue. But if you suddenly remove that thing, then everything else is gonna shift. But that applies to like everything.
But I remember hearing that like money doesn't buy happiness stuff back when I was living in a cabin and I was poor and depressed. And now I'm like, things are way better now than they ever were back then. Like, this is literally the best version of my life. And a lot of it is because of money. I get to live in a cool house. I get to paint miniatures. I get to like take time off and not have to worry about work all the time. So I understand it. When people say that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I would probably feel similarly if I was in that situation.
Look at us having personal growth and stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know. I just don't like when YouTubers make the audience their problem. It's like, stuff isn't going well. It's like, it's my audience is the problem. And I don't know. The audience is why you get to do what you do. They're why you're here. You don't know you don't owe everything to them, but definitely owe a lot to them.
Without the audience, there's no one there watching.
Who watches the Watchmen?
Who watches the Watchmen? Who watches Watchmen?
If somebody tells a joke in a forest and a tree falls down, is that funny?
I guess it depends.
If a YouTuber stops uploading, do they even exist?
If a YouTuber goes in the forest, get out of there.
Oh, God. YouTuber goes in the forest. We have a big issue coming in about 2 months.
Yeah, we have an apology going.
We have an apology train. Well, not only that, but it's so weird. I think of people getting cancelled as like a whale fall. You know how like when a whale dies, it falls to the bottom? And then it's like a whale fall is technically an ecosystem that so many other things thrive off. So it's like a YouTuber dies, and then so many other channels are like, nom, nom, nom. Content for me, me greedy, me get.
Yeah, we're all like little crabs.
Yeah,
You know, just going around.
it's a hard line to walk because I want to talk about current things like the Watcher thing, but then it's also like I don't want to add to a problem though. It's like, how do you talk about drama without adding to drama?
Yeah.
You pull out a gun and threaten people.
Threaten.
Are you afraid to hold it realistically because you're afraid we'll get in trouble? Oh, God. Oh, God.
Anyway. Who watches The Watchmen? We'll never know. Who
You
mails
have to
the
pay
mailman?
$6.99 to find out.
God. Fuck.
Sorry.
Never know.
Do you have $6.99? Of course you do, Mr. Second Channel. Probably only doing it because you want the dough balls.
Exactly. Want to hire RPM. You want to put sponsors on there. You want to do this and that and the other thing. Then all this, you fucking
I just want to be able to swear on my channel again without like second guessing myself. I went through like a 2-year period where every time I swore, I was like, you could kind of see me like clam up and hold back. Because I'm like, did that just fuck me up? And then I'm like in my head about it. If you could see like me on a trampoline in here. And then whenever I upload on a second channel, or well, like lately, I'm like, I just want to do what I want to do and not really worry about it and whatever. So now I'm like swearing a lot more. And not because I'm like, haha, fuck a duty, it's funny. But
not because you're 11 and you just learned what swears are.
Yeah, but it's just part of my lexicon. I used to do it all the time, and I hate that the algorithm kind of like drove it out of me. And I'm like, I want to find who me is again. I want
to fucking be fucking me, dude. Shit ass.
fucking bitch tits. There's a couple that I won't say because that will instantly get you demonetized.
Yeah, but
it's like I don't like that. I don't even care about getting demonetized. I'm like, if a video doesn't earn money, I'm like, fine. I have plenty of others that are earning. I have earners out there. My fucking pimp channel.
I've got earners, dude.
I've got my earners
big
out
cows
there.
out in that pasture.
But it's when it takes it out of sub feeds and it takes it out of suggestions and people can't even see the video. I don't like that it kills traffic. I
love seeing comments that are like, whoa, I just stumbled upon your video. I didn't know you were uploading anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yep, I'm still here.
I met somebody.
You just don't see anything
I went to
anymore.
get coffee the other day and somebody behind the counter, lovely guy, crazy cool tattoos, really cool looking dude. And he was like, oh man, I used to watch you all the time as a kid. And I was like, you're a grown adult. And then he was like, I used to watch you all the time when I was like 10 and I'm like 20 now. And I was like,
God.
It was just that Matt Damon meme where he grows immediately.
I went to the Ren Fair the other day, like I said, and it was really nice to meet a bunch of people. I was getting stopped constantly, which was very nice. But I was like a little sad because every time I got stopped, and I understand, and I am very glad that this thing was so impactful. Every single person only said like, I loved Unisanas. And it made me a little sad where it was like, oh, that's cool that you liked I'm very glad that you enjoyed the thing that I did. But I kind of feel like nobody watches just me anymore. It's
better
right.
to be known for something than nothing.
Yeah,
you made an impact somehow, and that's all any of us in this career want to do. Because I get those comments all the time now where it's like, I used to watch you all the time, and they used to bother me for a while, but now I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I had an impact on your life, and I was like your comfort, like other things were for me. Everyone wants relevance, and everyone wants to be like as relevant as possible all the time. But I mean, I rode that wave, man. And I beat myself up about it all the time, about not enjoying things more. And I keep coming back to that quote that drummer said in the Drumeo video, which is like, I'd have more fun if I wasn't so hard on myself. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's my life. I need to get outside of my own bubble. I need to burst my bubble. I don't want to be bubble boy anymore. I want to catch diseases and infections.
Yeah, no, like, I don't know. A part of me is like, I am very glad that it was so impactful. But there is the other thing that's like, I wish that someone would be like, oh, I love your videos now. But I also get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that is true.
Well, people also say that to me, like I watched you a long time ago, and I'm like, that was when I was putting in my most effort. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm still putting in the same amount of effort as I used to back then. So obviously people are gonna fall away and not watch as much, and I'm doing things that I want to do more so than just like playing absolutely everything that comes out. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's the same with you. Like, you're doing stuff that you want to do now. You're not uploading every day like Unis Honest was. You're not making a spectacle out of it as much as you did when you did that. So it's understandable, but people are still there. Hey, people still care. They're still out there. Care. Look, all those people out there.
Hey, all you beautiful people out there.
Oh, fuck. Oh, hello. I still got it. It's still in there. I don't know who that guy was.
It's like, it's a little Matt Patty.
It's really Matt Patty, actually. Now that I just said it. Hello, internet. Oh, yeah. I was Matt Pat before Matt Pat.
That's so funny.
Actually, he might have been still doing that stuff back then. I don't know. He said he was doing YouTube longer than I was, so.
Yeah, for like 13 years or something. It's
also now like Venom, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man 2. I keep thinking about that, like every time he showed up and he was like, he's gonna wish he never came to New York. And I was like, that's the only way I can do Yuri Lowenthal is by being Mad Pat. Don't but tell me how many calories I can have, bitch.
It is very similar.
It's crazy,
very, very similar.
But it's just, so I didn't realize how much my origin story was steeped in Matt Pat. Although it was Solid Snake and first.
Venom. Yeah. Oh, war has changed.
Or war never changes, depending on what game you're playing. Do you watch the Fallout TV show?
I started the first episode the other night.
I really like it. And I don't even really care about Fallout.
I like it a lot so far. Apparently, since the release of the show, Steam sales for Fallout 4 have increased by 7,000%.
So, yeah, and they're like hit peak players for Fallout 76.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Which is not a surprise, but seeing even just the first episode did make me go like, I just kind of want to play that opening sequence in Fallout 4 again.
I literally did that after I watched the first episode. I did that, and then I went into the town afterwards, and I was like, I forgot that I don't really want to play this game.
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot that I have to like look on my map and go into every building and like check everything. And that's cool like the first time, but I'm like, that's not what I want to do right now.
Yeah, I do kind of wish that there was more in, I mean, I don't know how the rest of the show goes, so maybe they flash back to it. I have no idea. I'm assuming they don't. But more of like everyone like getting into the vault and stuff like that. That
is my favorite thing in media. Is when you have an apocalyptic event and then you have a whole episode or the whole opening sequence is dedicated to the downfall. The downfall of humanity is my favorite like media trope in an apocalyptic setting.
That's why I'm very excited to see the new Quiet Place movie.
Did you watch the start of part 2? Bet you didn't.
No.
Bet you forgot.
Not.
You should put a reminder in your phone.
I should.
It's fucking epic.
Fucking epic. I should just watch that whole movie.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm like, people don't always have attention for a full movie.
Oh, you know what I did start doing the other day though?
Jelking.
And no, started that ages ago. It's increased tenfold.
I do have a story about jelking that I could tell. Keep going.
Okay. Really threw me for a loop there. No, I watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes the other day. I'm going to watch all those movies again before the new one comes out.
Hell yeah. Evelyn and I did that last year. We watched all 3 of them in the cinema room. Oh, Apes Together. Good. Strong, bro.
So excited for the new one. The whole time I was just sitting there, clenching my butt, waiting for him to just go, no!
Yeah. No! So good. And then Draco's like, ah!
So good.
I love
the first
that.
half of that movie is not very good, but the second half is really good.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I love that movie. That's like a comfort movie for me. I think they're great. I think the new one's probably going to be but
yeah, we'll see.
The CG is always really good.
CG is always very good. The first one, the CG gets markedly better in the second half when Caesar is just at the ape sanctuary because everything is just like controlled.
Well, it's also easier to see CG around CG. When you see just him in a house surrounded by real people, it's like, whew. And at the time it was like, how did we accomplish this fidelity? And now you watch it and it's like, I know how. It looks like Pixar now.
It holds up pretty well. The second half holds up very, very well. The Maurice the orangutan looks fucking real.
Yeah, he does.
He just looks real. He looks the best of all of them. He's just a real fucking monkey.
It must be easier to do when it's like covered in hair, so you're not like seeing skin and textures and.
Is it though? I thought that hair was the hardest thing.
I don't know. Skin is usually the hardest thing to do in CG and games and stuff. Because you have to do like translucency, you have to do subsurface scattering, you have to do... There's so many layers to skin and everyone's is different, and like the consistency and the density of your skin, and because your skin is slightly see-through. So...
Yeah.
But the second movie, CG in that movie fucking rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite one out of the 3. I love that movie.
Leading up to that. Oh, and, dude, I'm so excited about movies. Wolverine and Deadpool coming out.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. I went to
that premiere. I went to poke my manager and go, hey, will you get me in there? I really want to go to that
so
movie.
desperately want to do something with Ryan Reynolds for that. I'm like, can we please get together again? Even if it's just to show up on you to tell me to fuck off. Like, that's a good TikTok.
Cool.
But
it'd be so cool, and it would be so cool. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay Ryan Reynolds at all. I really love Ryan Reynolds a lot. But if you're doing promo for the movie, it'd also be really cool to meet Hugh Jackman.
You do like Wolverine, so I can see.
Wolverine is my favorite superhero.
But yeah. Mm-hmm. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I did reply to Ryan's story about the trailer, and I said, dude, it looks so fucking cool. I can't wait. And he wrote back, it's my favorite one yet. Thanks, pal. And I'm like, if he thinks it's his favorite one, then it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so fucking cool.
I'm so pumped
because
about
that wasn't public. He could say anything in the DMs.
Well, he wouldn't say that it sucks.
Well, yeah, but you know, I'm excited.
I really want to do something for that movie. It's going to be so cool.
Give him a little poke and say, hey, Ryan, I'll do it.
It's not up to him. It's up to everybody else. Last time was with Sony? Maybe? No, 20th Century Fox. And I had dealings with them, but I don't really have a contact at Marvel for anything, so. We'll see what happens.
It's gonna be cool. I'm excited. It's gonna be great. I love Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm very excited. There's so many references in the trailer already. And sometimes it's like, sometimes too many references are like, but for Deadpool, I'm like, you're gonna nail it. I love at the end of the trailer, it was like, cocaine is the one thing Feige said that we can't do. And then it's like, do you want to build a snowman? He's like, yes, but I can't.
It's so awesome.
So I hope
it's gonna be so fun.
I hope there's a ton of jokes like that in it.
Oh, I'm sure there will be, because it's Deadpool.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. I'm pumped to see Hugh back in the old saddle.
Yeah, it's a little sad that it's like, oh, the Logan one ended and everyone was like, farewell, and now it's like, now you're back. So it kind of sullies it a little bit, but I think they'll handle it well, and I think it'll still be canon.
Well, it seems like it's like every Marvel movie as of late, a little multiversy. Oh, because they're like jumping through a thing and stuff.
They have the TVA from Loki, so it's all like fixing timelines. But I love that makes the fun time jump thing at the end of Deadpool 2, where he shoots himself in the head. I love that is now technically canon. And they'll probably like work around that to be like, that's how he finds Logan at one point, or like a version of him.
I did love that line where he's like, unless you want to take a breath through your forehead.
Yeah.
So good.
I think that's Ryan Reynolds' strong suit, is sitting in a room and coming up with one-liner quips like that. He's like, oh, his claws have whiskey dick. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have never heard that term before, and I'm sure it's said plenty in some places, but that's a great one.
Oh, you've never heard of whiskey dick?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Oh, it's going to be fun. Ryan, come on the podcast. Ryan, have Sean come and do a thing, and Sean, you could dress up like Wolverine, and you could say,
I do have a Deadpool mask. I could bring it with me. And be like, guess who? Haha. And then just take off the eye parts. Where I'm just staring through the eyes. Oh, if I can do the whole interview like that, or just like pretend that it doesn't exist. I'm going to pitch that to people and make it happen. Manifest. I can't say manifest destiny because I forgot that that's not what that is.
It's bad.
It sounds like that's what it should be, and I think technically that's what it is, but it was used horribly. So I won't say that.
Very funny.
But manifesting.
I thought that it was very, very funny you saying that, because you're not from America, and in America, obviously that was a big deal, but why would you know anything about that?
We have a big history of colonizing in Europe, but we haven't used that term.
Huh?
Yeah.
Colonization in Europe?
UK, Netherlands, back-to-back champions, baby.
You mean to tell me that England has colonized other places?
Hey, what language are you speaking?
No!
It's like whatever about Louis C.K., because he got shit on in public and everything, and I don't know much about that situation, but I remember watching one of his things. He's talking about which religion won, and he's like, which religion won? What year is it? I'm like, that's the best way of describing that. That's such a good joke.
It's pretty good. Well, anyway, should we wrap this bitch up? Put a little bow on it? Send it off to our subscription site?
Send this bitch off the pasture. Sure thing, amigo.
Hell yeah. Well, everyone, don't forget, go and sign up for our subscription. You won't be hearing from us here anymore.
We're leaving.
Yeah. So, and if you don't follow us there, then you don't care about us.
Yep. So. And we don't care about you. And that's why we're doing it. Adios.